Abraham, you're the God of covenant and faithful promises. Time and time again, you have proven you'll do just what you said. Though the storms may come and the winds may blow, I'll remain steadfast and let my heart learn when you speak a word, it will come to pass. Great is your faithfulness to me. Great is your faithfulness to me. From the rising sun to the setting same, I will praise your name. Great is your faithfulness to me. Oh, you're faithful. Oh, God, from age to age, though the earth may pass away, your word remains the same. Yeah, your history can prove there's nothing you can't do. You're faithful and true. Though the storms may come and the winds may blow, I'll remain steadfast and let my heart learn when you speak a word, it will come to pass. Great is your faithfulness to me. Great is your faithfulness to me. From the rising sun to the setting same, I will praise your name. Yes. Great is your faithfulness to me. Over and over, you've been so faithful, yeah. It never runs out. Never runs out. It never runs out. Oh, it never runs out. I put my faith in Jesus, my anchor to the ground, my hope and firm foundation. You'll never let me down. I put my faith in Jesus, my anchor to the ground, my hope and firm foundation. You'll never let me down. I put my faith in Jesus, my anchor to the ground, my hope and firm foundation. You'll never let me down. My hope and firm foundation. You'll never let me down. Great is your faithfulness to me. Great is your faithfulness to me. From the rising sun to the setting same, I will praise your name. Great is your faithfulness to me.
Hi! Good evening! Kumusta ho kayo? Ako po ay nalulugod at magkakasama ulit tayo ngayon upang pag-usapan at pag-aralan ang salita ng Diyos. Kumusta po tayo ngayon sa panahon ng pandemya? Ako po ay na-excite na ibahagi sa inyo ang ating lesson for today. Dahil ang topic po natin ngayon ay angkop na angkop po sa mga nangyayari sa paligid. Ang ating topic ngayon ay Faithful Provider. To start, let's have a verse reading first. Then the word of the Lord came to Elijah. Live here, turn eastward, and hide in the Kerith ravine, east of the Jordan. You will drink from the brook, and I have ordered the ravens to feed you there. So he did what the Lord had told him. 1 Kings 17:5. To start, I would like to ask you a question. Do you believe in promises? Mahilig ka bang gumawa ng mga promises? Naaalala niyo ho nung bata pa tayo, 'di ba? Kapag gusto natin mag-promise sa isang tao, sinasabi natin na cross my heart, hope to die. O kaya mayroon namang pinky swear, 'di ba? When is the last time you made a promise to someone? Let's give some example, no? Yung iba pag mangungutang, nasabihin nila, "Uy pre, pautang naman ako. Babayaran ko sa'yo yan." Sa makalawa, mayroon din naman yung iba na, "Uy, kailan ka matatapos dyan? Promise, matatapos na ako dito. Malapit na. Malapit na." O kaya, mayroon naman yung ganitong klaseng pangako. "Uy, pre, sabihin mo na sa akin. Sikreto lang. Walang makakaalam. Promise." O kaya naman, di ba, pag naliligaw tayo o kaya sabihin din natin sa mga partners natin, "Babe, ikaw lang talaga ang mahal ko, wala nang iba." 'Di ba? Anong mararamdaman mo kung hindi maitupad ang iyong mga pangakong ito? Hindi ba masasaktan ka? Sasabihin mo, "Uy, manloloko 'yan." O kaya, "Uy, scam 'yan." O kaya, "Naku, drawing 'yan, taong 'yan." Very important sa ating mga Pilipino ang pangako at pagtupad din pangako. Kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag na palabra de honor. Kumbaga nakataya dito ang ating dignidad kapag hindi natin natupad ang pangako. Pero minsan, no, bilang mga tao, hindi natin maiiwasan na masira ang mga promise natin. Sometimes, promises are meant to be broken, and it is understandable. Dahil tao lang tayo, nadadapa, nagkakamali. At minsan, nakadepende din ang pangako natin kung ano nakakamdaman natin. O minsan, depende rin ito kung ano ang circumstances natin sa buhay. But do you know that there is someone na very consistent at tumutupad sa pangako niya? Yes, and that is God. At sa ngayon, pag-uusapan natin how God fulfills His promise to us. Let's have a storytelling. Kung babasahin natin ng Bible, no, makikita natin dito kung how did God fulfills His promise sa mga Israelites. Not only to Israelites but also to everyone. Right now, ang protagonist natin ngayon is si Elijah. Let us explore the life of Elijah on how God helps Elijah as a faithful provider. In this lesson, we'll see how Elijah responds and experience God's faithful provision. Sino nga ba si Elijah? Elijah or Eliyahu, a Hebrew word means my God is Yahweh. Nakatira siya sa Tishbe, Gilead, and 19th century before Christ. Founder siya ng Sons of Prophet, and he is considered one of the greatest prophet of all time. Let's go now to provision. Ano ba yung mga tulong na ibinigay ng Diyos kay Elijah? First, let's define provision, no? Provision, supply with food, drink, or equipment especially for a journey. The action for providing or supplying something for use. So dito sa story natin, no, malalaman na hindi lamang ordinaryong pagkain o tubig ang ibinigay ng Panginoon kay Elijah, kundi mas malaki pa at mas marami pa. Let's start yung journey niya nung binisita niya si King Ahab and ang wife niya na si Jezebel. So, dito, si King Ahab and Jezebel, they symbolizes Israel's unfaithfulness to God. Bakit nga ba natin na masasabi silang masama? Well, they have 850 prophets. And these 850 prophets, they are working for Baal and Asherah. So, they build idols, and actually they are persecuting Christians and prophets like Elijah. According to 1 Kings chapter 17, nagpunta doon si Elijah para kumprontahin ang evil na mag-asawa. Ang sabi niya, "As the Lord, the God of Israel lives, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years except my word." Since hindi nakikinig ang mag-asawang ito, pinarusahan sila ng Diyos na magkakaroon ng drought. Etong drought na to, tumagal ito ng around 3.5 years. And ironically, no, si Baal, he is a god of fertility. And he is supposed to bring yung parang tinatawag na rain para maging fertile yung land, no? But even Baal cannot do that because he's not really God. So dito makikita natin yung providence of courage and wisdom. Binigyan ng Diyos si Elijah ng tapang para harapin ang mag-asawa. Biruin mo, no? 850 prophets at mag-isa lang siyang pumunta doon. It is not an ordinary feat, 'di ba? So, makikita mo dito si Elijah, isa lamang siyang ordinaryong tao. He also struggled with frailties as a human, but yet he obeyed God. And then, he held firm when the situation turns dim. Kayo po, kung anong gagawin nyo kung kayo ang nasa lugar niya? Kapag sinabi ng Diyos na pumunta ka dito o gawin mo ito, susundin nyo po ba? Kaya mo po bang sumunod sa Panginoon kahit alam mong mahirap at imposible? Nakikita mo ba kung paano ka i-prepare ni Lord sa buhay mo? Pagkatapos ng konfrontasyon, inutusan ng Diyos na magtago si Elijah. According to 1 Kings 17:25, "Live here, turn eastward and hide in the Kerit ravine, east of the Jordan. You will drink from the brook, and I have directed the ravens to supply you with food there." Dito, dinala siya ng Diyos para hubugin ang character niya at para ma-witness ni Elijah ang provision ng Diyos. God did literally feed Elijah with food and water. And interesting enough, no? God sends help to him in a very interesting way. God uses ravens. And ravens are very intelligent creature, no? Alam naman natin nung panahon na yun may drought nga, no? And yung mga ravens na ito, they could choose to take advantage of Elijah. And yet, they were utilized by God to provide food and water. So God taught Elijah to be dependent to Him. Ikaw, ano po ang ipinagkakaloob niyo po sa Diyos sa pang-araw-araw niyong pamumuhay? Na-experience niyo na rin bang maging desperado? Na-experience niyo na rin po ba yung parang walang-wala na? Then suddenly, may dumating na himala. May dumating na tulong. Ano po ang matutunan nyo sa experience na ito? Masasabi ko lang is that yung mga difficulty and pain in our lives, no, dumarating talaga yan para i-prepare tayo ni God sa kanyang will. And also, God wants us to have an intimate relationship with Him. Nagstay for some time si Elijah sa Kerit ravine. Then eventually, natuyo na yung brook. Then, Sabi ng Diyos sa kanya, according to 1 Kings 17:9, go at once to Zarephath of Sidon and stay there. I have commanded the widow in the place to supply you with food. According to 1 Kings 17:12, ang sabi naman ng widow nung magkita sila, as surely as the Lord your God lives, I don't have any bread, only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug. I am gathering a few sticks to take home and make meal for myself and my son, that we may eat and die. After sabihin ng widow dito kay Elijah, nag-perform siya ng miracle. Nagbigay ng provision kay Elijah to perform wonders. Ang ginawa niya, sinabi niya dun sa widow na trust Him, trust God, at hindi sila magugutom. So, ang nangyari is, yung flour at oil nila, hindi ito nauubos. Then eventually, sometime, nagkasakit ang anak nung widow. Nagkasakit and eventually namatay. Ang sabi nung widow kay Elijah sa 1 Kings 17:17-24, what do you have against me, man of God? Did you come to remind me of my sin and kill my son? Then ang ginawa ni Elijah, nag-pray siya ng may timtim. And again, nag-perform ng miracle si God. Nabuhay ang namatay na anak ng widow. So, ano ba matutunan po natin dito? Makikita natin dito na si Elijah dinemonstrate niya yung kanyang greatest strategy. And what is that? That is prayer. And yung mga prayers ni Elijah, hindi lang siya yung ordinaryong dasal lang na, for example, sana gumaling po ang anak ng widow, o kaya sana po magkaroon po kami ng pang-araw-araw na pagkain. Hindi lang ganun. Very specific and bold. Ang sabi niya, bigyan mo po ako ng power to perform a miracle. And pinagdasal niya rin yung anak ng widow. So, dito his life remind us that if we trust God through prayers, it will make a significant impact. Isa ding observation, we can either be Elijah, who trust and pray to God, or pwede rin naman tayo maging widow, the one who hesitates and objects and complain. I-contrast natin sila. Nung pumunta si Elijah doon sa widow, ang ginawa niya is magdasal para sa provision ni Lord. And then ito naman si widow, inutusan siya ng Diyos na isupport sa Elijah. Pero nung pumunta siya doon, ang sabi niya, napaka-negative, Only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug. So, they were just gathering sticks to make their last meal and eventually mamatay na. So, parang nag-give up na siya. Then, nung namatay naman ang anak niya, parang sinisi niya pa si Elijah at ang Diyos. So, sino ho tayo? The one who prays or the one who complains? After some time, inutusan ulit ng Lord na pumunta si Elijah kay King Ahab. Then doon, nagkaroon sila ng showdown. He challenged King Ahab and 850 prophets of Baal and Asherah. And naging witness nila ang people of Israel. So sabi niya, punta tayo sa Mount Carmel. So magkaalamanan na kung sino talaga ang Diyos. Nung nagpunta sila sa Mount Carmel, nirebook niya rin yung mga Israelites. Kumbaga, sinabi niya na hanggang kailan kayo mamamangka sa dalawang ilog? Kung kay God kayo, kay God kayo. Then, kung kay Baal kayo, kay Baal kayo. Sabi nga doon sa 1 Kings 18:22-24, I am the only one of the Lord's prophet left, but Baal has 450 prophets. The another 400 is Asherah. Get 2 bulls for us. Let them choose one for themselves, and let them cut it into pieces and put it on the wood, but not set fire of it. I will prepare the other bull and put it on the wood, but not set fire of it. Then you call the name of your God, and I will call the name of the Lord. the God who answers by fire. He is God. So yung 450 prophets ni Baal at 400 prophets ni Asherah, halos maghapon na sila, nagsisigaw sila, tawag sila ng tawag kay Baal na mag-perform ng miracles at paulanin ng apoy yung kanyang offering. Fortunately, halos maghapon na, wala nangyari. Then sabi ni Elijah sa kanila, lakasan nyo pa yung sigaw nyo, baka hindi kayo nakikinig yan, baka natutulog yan. Then yun ang ginawa nila. Yung iba pa sa kanila, nag-inflict na ng self-harm, sinugatan na nila ang mga sarili nila para mapansin. Unfortunately, walang fire from heaven na nangyari. Then, when it's Elijah's turn na, ang sabi niya pa, buhusan nyo ng tubig. So, binuhusan nila ng several jugs of water yung kanyang altar. Tapos nung mga una, parang nagtawanan pa ang mga tao. Yung amin nga, tuyong-tuyo ang altar namin, pero hindi nagkaapoy. Paano magkakaapoy yan? Binuhusan mo pa ng tubig. So, kinutya nila pa si Elijah. But then, a great miracle happened. Hindi pinabayaan ng Lord si Elijah. Hindi ipinahiya ng Lord si Elijah. After magdasal ni Elijah, bumulusok ang apoy galing sa langit papunta sa offering. Sinunog nito yung bull, then yung gumapang yung apoy sa altar, at pati yung tubig sinunog niya. Then namangha ang lahat. Wow! Paano nangyari yun? Then sabi nila, the Lord, He is God. So dito nakita natin ang triumph ni Elijah. The triumph of Lord against Baal. Then eventually, yung aftermath nito, nagrepent na yung mga Israelites. Then yung 850 prophets, inipon sila ng mga tao. Sa galit na rin, pinagpapatay sila. After some time, the Lord decided to give Israelites the rain na kinakailangan nila. And again, Lord provided another provision or miracle by giving Elijah an superhuman strength. Nung after umulan, sabi ni Elijah kay King Ahab, bumalik na siya sa kanyang pinanggalingan kasi uulan na. Then, nung bumalik na si Elijah, gamit ang mga kabayo, naunahan pa siya ni Elijah. Tumakbo lamang siya gamit ang kanyang mga paa. After ng miracle na nangyari sa Mount Carmel, in-expect ni Elijah na magbabago na lahat for the greater good. Ni-expect nga na lahat ng Israelites magtuturn na kay God, magsusorry at mananampalataya ulit. Ini-expect niya na magbabago na rin si King Ahab at ang kanyang wife na si Jezebel. But he got it wrong. Hindi niya ni-expect yung mga susunod na pangyayari. The wife of King Ahab, si Jezebel, sa sobrang galit niya dahil pinatay ang kanyang mga prophets, nagplano siya na gumanti. Ipinag-utos niya na ipapatay kaagad si Elijah. Then si Elijah, like a normal human being, nakaramdam din siya ng takot at panghihina. Elijah went to Mount Horeb. Doon siya nagtago. Doon siya nakaramdam ng pagkawala ng hope. Nawalan siya ng passion and nawala rin siya ng desire to live. According to 1 Kings 19:4, ang sabi niya, I have had enough, Lord. Take my life. I am no better than my ancestors. So, anong ginawa ng Diyos? Again, nagpadala na naman siya ng provision. And this time, He sent His angels to give food kay Elijah. He sent His angels to encourage again Elijah. So, dito natin matututunan na the love of God never ends. Kahit na madapa tayo, minsan, o kaya panghinaan tayo, nandyan pa rin ang Diyos sa atin. Then, after some time, bumalik ulit ang confidence ni Elijah. nagkaroon siya ng comeback. So the comeback is real. He became better, bolder, and stronger. After ng stint niya sa Mount Horeb, no, nagtayo na siya ng parang tinatawag na Guild of Foundation. Itinayo niya yung Sons of Prophets. So ito yung mga samahan ng mga prophet na pagpapatuloy ng mga works ni God. O kaya yung mga nasimulan niya. So one of this prophet, yung mga naging protege niya si Elisha. Elisha is another great prophet. So dito we can learn that discouragement is part of life. And even a strong man of faith is not immune. Makikita natin si Elijah, binigyan siya ng power ni Lord na mag-perform ng several feats and miracles. Pero siya mismo, pinanghihinaan din siya. So, it is up to us kung panghihinaan ba tayo o patuloy pa rin tayo kakapit sa Lord. Kayo po, anong gagawin nyo? Matapos ang misyon ni Elijah, he got his ultimate reward. And this ultimate reward separates him from other prophets. Ano yun? Yung ultimate reward na nakuha niya is that he went to heaven without suffering a physical death. So imagine, nagkaroon ng rapture kay Elijah. Hindi niya kailangang mamatay kasi umakyat siya sa langit. According to 2 Kings 2:11-12, as they were walking along and talking together, suddenly a chariot of fire and horses of fire appeared and separated the two of them, and Elijah went up to heaven in a whirlwind. Elisha saw this and cried, my father, the chariots and horsemen of Israel." And Elisha saw him no more. Then he took hold of his garment and tore it into two. Nung iniwan ni Elijah yung kanyang cloak kay Elisha, may parang parting gift pa siya na binigay. So, nung panahon kasi na magkasama sila, alam ni Elisha na parang aakyat na sa langit si Elijah. So, parang sabi ni Elijah sa kanya, maiwan ka na. Ilang beses niya sinabi yung maiwan ka na. Pero sabi ni Elisha, hindi. Sasama ako kung saan ka magpunta. So, parang hiniling din ni Elisha yung parang, bigyan mo rin ako ng parang power to perform miracles. Then, nung pumunta si Elijah sa heaven, hindi naman siya naging madamot. Yung iniwan niya ang cloak kay Elisha, it gives Elisha the power to perform miracles. And yung mga miracles na perform niya, twice sa nagawa ni Elijah. And then, another thing, yung mga legacy, another legacy na iniwan din ni Elijah, nung nag-transfigure si Jesus Christ, andoon si Moses at saka si Elijah. So si Moses, andun siya because he symbolized yung parang law giver, or siya kasi ang nagbigay ng 10 Commandments. And Elijah is there because he represents the prophets of the God. So parang siya yung parang tinatawag na MVP or most valuable prophet of all time. Ang saya ho sana kung tayo rin magkaroon din ng rapture, Kumbaga, hindi na natin kailangan na mag-experience ang physical pain and death or any sickness. Well, let's see. So that ends our storytelling. I would like to summarize our lesson into 3. Believe, wait, and witness. Punta po tayo sa believe. Nang tinawag ng Lord si Elijah para sa mission, sinunod niya ito. No ifs, no buts. Ang importante kay Lord is makita niya kung ano yung nasa puso natin. Tulad ng nakita niya sa puso ni Elijah. The willingness to serve God. Kung mapapansin nyo, si Elijah is just an ordinary human like us. Hindi siya galing sa prominenteng pamilya. Hindi siya influencer. Hindi siya high-ranking official. And yet, Lord chooses him. Next is that trust Him no matter what the circumstances or situation is. So, ito believing may sounds like an easier advice but it is not. So, parang easier said than done. May mga sitwasyon kasi na dumarating sa buhay natin na parang minsan pakiramdam natin natutulog ang Diyos o kaya minsan may direksyon na binigay ang Diyos sa atin pero tatanungin natin ang sarili natin na tama ba yun? O talaga? Doon nga ba talaga ako nililid? So minsan may mga will si God na hindi natin talaga maintindihan o kaya hindi siya angkop doon sa parang ina-anticipate natin o sa gusto nating mangyari. Pero dapat kumapit lamang tayo sa kanyang will at sa kanyang mga pangako. Minsan naman, kapag pinagbigyan tayo, in-answer ni Lord ang prayer natin, tayo naman din mismo nakakalimot. So pag dumating na naman ang problema, ayun na naman tayo. Magtatampo na naman tayo. O hahanapin na naman natin ang Diyos na hindi supposed to be natin na ginagawa. So like Elijah, we should live by faith and experience the power of God during the times of difficulty. So pag naniwala tayo kay Lord, pag nagkaroon tayo ng faith sa Kanya, believing God means God is sufficient. And yung iba, i-disregard na natin yun. He will free us from mga wants at saka yung mga burdens ng materialistic things dito sa mundo. Tapos yung relationship natin, it is our relationship with Him and faith in Him that God allows us na makita ang kanyang mga provisions and miracles. Next is wait. When God give us trials at saka yung mga problema sa mundo, it means that He is giving us a personal growth sa ating buhay. Hinuhubog niya tayo para sa kanyang will at para sa kanyang mission. Ngayon, kapag humiling tayo sa Diyos, tatlo lamang ang sagot niya. It's either yes, a no, or wait. Ngayon, sa paghihintay, faith produces action. Nung si Elijah nagpunta siya sa Kerith Ravine, he went there not to test God kung magde-deliver ba si God o hindi. But instead, yung obedience niya at saka yung willingness to wait niya ang nag-produce ng fruit. Sa ngayon kasi, ang mga tao parang ayaw maghintay. Halos lahat ngayon parang instant food, mga fast food, gusto na lang natin lahat na palaging rush yan. So, gusto natin lahat madaliin. So, we should practice self-discipline and the willingness to wait. Meron nga tayo parang tinatawag na formula eh. Iba yung gusto natin, so iba din yung God's best. Para makuha ang God's best, we should obey yung God's will. We should do the God's way. And we should follow God's time para makuha ang God's best. So pag sinabi ni Lord sa atin na mag-wait tayo, He just want us to persevere through prayers. So mga kapatid, isa lang ang tandaan natin. Keep on pushing. Push. Pray until something happens. Last but not the least, it's witness. Yung ravens na nagpadala sa kanya ng pagkain, yung multiplication of flour and oil, the resurrection of the widow's son, the fire that comes from the heaven to consume the altar, at saka yung sustenance of angel sa Mount Horeb. Lahat nito ay binigay ng Diyos kay Elijah, hindi dahil sa kanyang pananampalataya lamang. Ibinigay ito ng Diyos because He promised. God also provides because He can. He is omniscient and He is powerful. Unlike human beings na napapagod at nabubuhay sa kondisyon o circumstances, the Lord is unconditional. And wala rin siya yung parang tinatawag na parang rest day. And lahat ng ginawa niya, it's perfect. Tumingin na lang po tayo sa paligid natin. Yung araw, yung mga puno, yung mga tubig. So lahat yan ginawa ng Diyos. Even ang pagkakagawa ng katawan natin. So imagine na one time nung sabihin ng Diyos na, okay, i-shut down ko muna tong araw. Imagine what would happen to Earth. So parang lahat it is synchronized and it's working systematically because God created it according to His will. Then lastly, the promise of God is unconditional because He loved us. So, hindi ito nakabase lamang sa kanyang feelings, no? Unlike a human pag pabago-bago ng pag-iisip. So, kahit minsan na saktan natin, just like our ancestors, no? Parang meron ng tinulungan na ng Diyos, sumunod, then until such time, makakalimot, magkakasala ulit, sumunod, makakalimot, magkakasala. So, parang ganun yung nangyayari sa previous times. And yet, hindi tayo pinabayaan ni Lord. So, even though na makasalanan ng mga tao nun, He sent His only Son, si Jesus Christ. And si Jesus Christ, even though that alam niya na mamamatay siya sa cross, He fulfills His promise because He loves us. Kung tulad lang din siya ng tao na nabubuhay lang sa conditional yung promise, pwede na siya mag-back out. Kasi hindi rin naman siya nire-respeto, hindi naman siya sinusunod. And yet, He fulfills His promise. So, that ends our lesson for today. And let us end our session today with a prayer. Lord, maraming salamat po sa inyong salita na ipinamahagi po sa ngayong gabi sa amin. We adore you and we praise you. We know that you are the only one supreme God. Isang Diyos na makapangyarihan na nakakapagbibigay na unconditional love and unconditional promise po sa amin. Patawarin niyo po kami kung kami po ay minsan napanghihinaan ng loob, and instead of turning our prayers to you, kami pa po ay nanunumbat, o kaya minsan po ay kami po ay nakakalimot. Maraming salamat sa pagbibigay po ng assurance na nandyan po kayo palagi, at andyan po ang mga trials na binibigay nyo para hubugin po ang aming pagkatao for the betterment of us. May you give us the power and the strength to keep our faith strong and to keep always believing in you, and then give us also strength para po makapaghintay po kami steadfastly for your promise. Lahat po nito hinihiling po namin, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So, yun po, dito nagtatapos ang ating session. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras at panahon. Keep safe and keep your faith. Bye-bye.